What's up, guys? It's been over a year since I did a tour of my sharpening van, and I thought it would be a good idea to do an updated video. Some things in the van have changed and some have stayed the same, but overall things have become more and more efficient, and as the setup continues to be tested over a long period of time, I'm left with only the most practical equipment that serves the purposes required for the types of sharpening that I do. I'm going to talk briefly about the workbenches, and then I'll go into a bit more detail about the power supply setup, and then I'll go through each of the machines and talk about their purposes and how they fit into the workflow. On the left side here is the knife station where I spend most of my time. This is just an old Home Depot workbench that I had in my garage before I bought the van, and I've bolted it into the side, into the frame of the van there. The height of the bench had to be adjusted in order to give me an ideal seating position to use those machines. Now over on the right side is the scissor station. This is a desk I got from Target, and I bought it specifically for the size because I needed very specific dimensions in order to fit this desk into its space. Now let's look at the battery compartment at the front of the van under the floorboards. This is where the power supply for the workshop begins. The red wire is connected to the positive terminal of the van's starter battery, and it's routed through the floor under the driver's seat to this area. This is a small panel I put together in order to isolate the van's starter battery from the secondary battery I use to power the shop's equipment. The wire on the right-hand side is coming from the van's starter battery. First it goes through one 100 amp fuse, then into the battery isolator device. This device closes the connection from the starter battery when the incoming current falls below 12.8 volts. The circuit then goes through another 100 amp fuse, and the isolator device is also grounded to the frame of the van. From the second fuse, it's connected directly to my secondary battery, which is a 100 amp hour AGM battery. This setup will allow this battery to be charged from the van's alternator through the starter battery whenever the engine is running. The positive and negative terminals on this battery are then connected to my 4000 watt pure sine wave power inverter, and this is what will actually provide the power outlets which you can use to plug in the machines and run them. The secondary battery is also grounded to the frame of the van in the same spot where the isolator is grounded. This power inverter provides 4 power outlets in addition to a couple of USB ports. All of the equipment that I use for sharpening is plugged into this inverter. You can see it's measuring 12 volts here without the van's engine running. At this voltage, I know that the system is isolated and it is not taking any current from the van's starter battery. This surge protector provides outlets for all the machines on this workbench, and there are a couple of other surge protectors placed in different areas of the van as needed with extension cords. These 2 machines on the right-hand side of the knife station are for sharpening serrated knives. I use 6-inch diamond-bonded convex wheels to sharpen the most common sizes of serrations that I encounter. This one is a custom-made machine that uses a DC sewing machine motor, and I've mounted it onto a basic wooden frame. This unit on the back of the machine is the control box for the motor. It offers variable speed, variable direction, and has a very low amp draw. This wheel has a 1/4 inch width and is good for cutting and sharpening very small serrations like on steak knives. The other 2 wheels are on this Buck Tool low speed 6-inch bench grinder. The speed will be relatively the same for all 3 wheels, and I also run all of them rotating up and away from me, and I use them in an edge trailing method. Now this is the machine that I use the most in the entire van, the Buck Tool low speed 1x30 belt sander. I typically use it with 2 belt grits, 120 and 600 grit. I'm a big fan of this machine because it's so durable. It never lets me down. I think I've sharpened nearly 20,000 knives on this one so far, and it's still going strong. I also use the dust extraction port at the rear of the machine to help minimize exposure to metal particles. And on the left side of the bench, we have my honing and deburring machine. This is a Rikon low-speed 8-inch bench grinder. Mounted on the right side of the machine is a leather wheel that's used for the final polishing and burr removal for knives and other things. And on the left side is a nylon fiber wheel that's good for more aggressive burr removal, blending, and rough satin polishing. Here in the corner of the van, next to the workbench, is my small shop vac that I use to collect dust from the buck tool sanding machine. I always run this vacuum when using that machine, and it collects an impressive amount of metal dust. Above the knife station on the side of the van, I have some magnetic Velcro straps holding all of the belts for my 1x30 sander. I use these rubber bungee cords to tie down all of the machines whenever I'm driving. This overhead desk lamp can be extended to cover the entire length of the knife station. It's very useful for giving some extra close-up illumination, and I use it very often when deburring knives. Over here we have some safety equipment on some magnetic hooks. I always wear my respirator whenever I'm working on anything inside the van. I find it very important to protect your lungs, and of course safety glasses as well. These spray bottles contain the only two chemicals that I typically use when sharpening: alcohol and water with a little bit of dish soap in it. This magnetic paper towel holder keeps the shop towels within reach. And last but not least, we have my old toolbox. I keep a lot of various tools for sharpening in here. And of course, you gotta make sure to have plenty of U-line paper for testing. On the other side of the van here, we have the scissor station, where I use two different machines made by Wolf Industries. The twice as sharp machine is ideal for any regular type of scissor, like household utility fabric scissors. And the Hera 2 machine is an incredible piece of engineering that allows you to do beautiful work on any type of hair cutting scissor, particularly for the beauty and pet grooming industries. Inside the desk, I keep a few important items for working on scissors, like a small collection of stones here. These drawers are held in by some strong magnets, and some various tools and supplies for sharpening and testing scissors, and also clipper blades. On the floor next to this station, I keep another very important machine. This is a 2x42 belt sander made by Buck Tool. I generally use it when I'm working on knives for any type of severe damage and fast removal of material that I need to do. This is a full speed machine, and I use it with an 80 grit belt. It makes quick work of grinding a new tip on a knife or removing deep chips or other types of damage. The latest addition to the van is this 14-inch Nebraska Blades clipper hone made by the Edge Pro. I had enough requests to sharpen clipper blades to justify adding this to the van, and it's very nice to be able to offer this service to my clients who are in the pet grooming industry, as they typically need them done in addition to their shears. There's a magnetic basket on the side here that holds all the materials and supplies needed to sharpen the clipper blades. So that is the state of the van as of July 2025. I'm going to do my best to provide links in the description to all the equipment shown in this video. If you'd like to purchase any of these items, please go ahead and use my Amazon links. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll try to get back to you. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.